3 times
3.
Then how many IP addresses I have? I mean, in this network, how many IP addresses are available to assign?
254.
254 for host's IP, right?
Yes.
So host IP over here, I have 254 host's IP. And then now if I borrow 1 bit from there, 1 bit, now I'm going to break this network. First, what we are breaking down, what we need to divide, what the thing is there, we are going to divide. When we said we are going to save the IP addresses by subnetting, right? We are not going to waste the IP addresses. Which portion of the network we are going to break down? Simon? See, we said here in first 3 octets, subnet mask is 255.255.255. It's network portion. We cannot change anything on top, right? So it's fixed. And the third, 4th octet, how many IP addresses we said? Altogether it's 256. And for hosts, 254. Where we have IP addresses, if I'm saying instead of assigning this room 254 IP addresses, so only we need 16 IP addresses. So give 16 these rooms within the same network. 16 here, 16 there, 16 there, 16 there. What I'm dividing, what I'm distributing? The hosts, not the network, right? I'm going to play with the hosts. What I have, what I can give you guys, what I have, right? I don't have this portion. It's 192, 168, then I cannot give anything to anyone, right? I was restricted by this subnet mask. So they are saying, okay, don't play here, man. It's a network, already network. So now we can divide this portion either amongst one network or multiple networks. We have 256 IP addresses. Altogether we have 256. Now if I want 10 IP addresses for each network, how I will divide that? How you divide, man? If you have, for example, go with 40, you have 40 IP addresses, or maybe 40 TIM bits, and we have 10 students, how you will divide that?
40.
Simon? Divide by 4. So each will get how many? We have 10 students and 40 TIM bits. How many TIM bits you will give to each and every student? 4. Right? If we have 60 TIM bits, then how many TIM bits you will give all the students? You will keep dividing, right? Now you will divide 60 amongst the 10 students. Before you had 40 TIM bits, you gave 4 each of them. Now you have 60, you will give 6 each of them, right? And if they say, okay man, keep all the timbits, don't give anyone, then you can keep all 40s, right? If we are not sharing the IP addresses with other networks, we can enjoy all the IP addresses, right? So all the timbits for one guy. If my manager says, okay man, go ahead, and now you have 40 timbits, you don't need, these are a lot. So share with your classmates. And now if you want, you guys, you can keep more for yourself, and you can divide rest amongst your classmates, or you can equally divide. Okay, I don't need much, I have 40 and we are 10 students, we are, all of us can enjoy 4 timbits, right? So over here, you are going to keep all of 256 timbits for yourself, right? For one network. No, I don't want to share. No matter what, I have 10 guys or anyone, right? I'm not going to share with any other one. So if we have 5, 6, 7, 8 classrooms, and the Murli came here and he asked you, man, okay, Simon, these are the 256 timbits, take them and go on to all of the classrooms and please distribute them, right? You will go to each and every class and you will distribute them accordingly. Over here, you have 16 students, you will give each of them. You will go to that classroom, there you have 8 students, you will give them accordingly, right? So but if they ask you, okay man, divide according to the classrooms, don't care how many students they have, how many students you have, how many students the health class have, right? So if health class have 5, over here we have 17 students, in that class they have 10 students, just amongst divide equally according to the classrooms. What you will do? You will equally divide them, right? If it's 60 and we have 4 classrooms, you will give 15 to each and every class. And now they can divide among themselves, right? So the things we are doing the same here. This portion is not available, right? We are going to divide these available IP addresses. We said in my classroom I have 20 PCs. I maximum need 20 hosts, IP addresses. And for the near future, I might going to add few more PCs in the class. So I can keep maybe 4 or 5 extra, right? The rest, I'm not using them. No matter what. In next 10 years, I'm not going to use them. I have only space of 20 PCs. And the rest, I can give the next classroom, right? So I don't need to bring more networks in my college. I can break this network in multiple networks. When we divide them, then we say we are doing subnetting. We have a bigger network and we're breaking it down into smaller networks. So when we need to smaller networks, what we are going to divide, the only thing available for hosts need IPs, right? So over here we have 256. If the way how we divide that, right? As I said, you guys can go and assign each and every IP to each student, or you can divide according to the classrooms, number of classrooms. So if I'm going to break, I'm saying, okay, every classroom need 30 students, 30 host IPs. What you will do? In 256 IPs, right? Every student need 30, every classroom need 30 IP addresses. Divide 256 with 30. 8? So you can give 8 classrooms, right? 8 classrooms, and you can get 30 IPs to each classroom. That's what we are saying, right? So you can divide them. You have this much IP addresses. You can divide them in 8 classrooms when they need 30, or you can go for 32 even, right? 2 extra, right? 32 into 8, how much?
256.
256, right? So I'm dividing equally. So I'm saying I have 8 classrooms, 256 IPs are available. I can divide them, okay, with 32 IP addresses for each and every classroom. So now if you are assigning 32 and I have 256, what you will do? You will assign 0 to 31. These are 32 IP addresses. Then you will start from 32 to 63. Over here we have 32. Then 64 to 95. So 32. So 96 to 127. 32. 128 to 159. 32. 160 to 191. So 32. 192 to 223. Now 32. Now 224 to 256 or 255, sorry. 32, right? So if I'm going, this is our room, IT room. If I have given the IP addresses 32 IPs, the first 32, 0 to 31, if I'm sitting in this room, I can understand, okay man, I have these IP addresses. I'm going to accounting room and I can find these IP addresses there. Then I will issue the command IP config, right? I can get the IP address there. If I'm in this room, I can easily know, okay man, I have these IP addresses. But what if I'm sitting in the office and I want to know, okay man, which IP belongs to which room, right? Then what we do? We said, okay, it's for room number 1, room number 2, room number 3, room number 4, room number 5, right? So what we are doing, now we are giving the network identification, right? So by sitting in my office, I can easily understand, okay man, these IP addresses belongs to IT classroom, that is room number 1. These IP for accounting, the accounting class have these IP addresses. So I'm giving them identification. In networking, the same, these computer needs to know which classroom they belongs to, right? You are coming to the reception, you said, man, I want to go to the room number 1, right? You will come here. Or you will give them their own IP, okay, my roll number is 31, where should I go? And to know 31 belongs to roll number 1, the receptionist will send you here, right? So either way, we are going to identify where these roll numbers are sitting, right? Where these roll number belongs to, which roll number or which class they belong to. So we do in our own world, we are doing everything for identification, right? So in networking, they need to know, these PCs need to know where they belong to. For that, we use this subnet mask. If the subnet mask is 255.255.255, it means over here it's 0. Each and every host IP that fall within this network belongs to the same network, right? So it's 0. If it's 0, all 256 IPs belongs to this network. We use for the identification? This subnet mask, right? So now, if we want to tell these IP addresses, if I'm breaking them down into 8 networks, I need to tell these IPs where they belong to, right? Otherwise, if they are coming anywhere, they can go to the accounting room. These guys, accounting guys, can come to our room, right? So they need to know where they belong to. Over here we are using roll numbers, the class is IT class, so maybe some other tactics as well. But the network need to know, these machines also needs to know where they can talk freely, where can they talk to each other, so where the IT things are going on, right? So if these PCs are here to learn IP and IT, they are not going to sit in the accounting. That's weird to them, right? So they cannot talk to each other. They would not like to talk to each other. So we need to tell our networks where you belong to. So for that we use this subnet mask. We always identify the networks by their subnet mask. If subnet mask is 255.255.255, it means all the rest in 4th octet, all the hosts belongs to the same network. And if I'm going to breaking them down, then I will have to figure out. Now, over here when I have 256 IPs, it's 0. 0 means 0 to 255, all IPs for one network. But if I'm saying, okay man, no. In this octet, I'm giving only 0 to 31 IP addresses to one network, then is it logical to go the same number, 0? We cannot, right? So if this IP is identifying, this subnet mask is identifying 256 IP addresses, the same subnet mask cannot identify only 32 hosts, right? That should be different. So here the subnetting kicks in. Here the concept, we just came with the formula, so we can easily give the identification to the networks. So the IPs belongs to one network and identify themselves where we belong to. So they are able to talk within their own network, and if they know what their entity is as a whole, they will be able to talk to others as well, right? So but when they are talking, for example, as an entity, IT class, we are going to talk accounting class, we know our limitations, right? What we are and what they are, and what we need to share. So for sharing for those things, first they need to establish their own identity. They should know themselves where they belong to. The only subnet, why we are using subnet mask, that's the reason. And now, can you erase?
Copy it first.
Pardon?
Copy it, sir. Right.
So I did not borrow anything. Then how many IP addresses I have in class C for the network? So So this is my network right now. I'm going to break it down. If I borrow only one bit, then it will be 192.168.10.0, and this will be 255, 255, 255, and here 128. I borrowed only one bit. So subnet mask will be 255, 255, 255, 128. Now I need to figure out, okay man, my subnet mask is this one, 128. Now how many hosts and which host belong to one network and which belong to the second network? We borrowed one bit, and how many networks we are going to get? We use the formula 2 to the power of borrowed bits, number of borrowed bits. We have one here, right? So, and you please. So 2 to the power of 1, it will be 2. So 2 networks we have. But which 2 networks? I came here, I understand I borrowed only one bit. Just by looking at 128. I borrowed one bit, I came here, okay, 2 to the power of 1, it's 2. I have 2 networks now. But which are the networks now? With the same subnet mask, it's 0 to 127, and the second will start from 128 to 255. Now, if I have any IP address, I know I'm using first bit to divide my networks. So if any number fall from 0 to 127, it means it belongs to the first portion of the network. The first portion I got by dividing this network. So all 0 to 127 now belongs to one network. 128 to 255 belongs to second network. So if it's a 0 to 128, where 0 falls? Right here. And the second network I will get 192, 168, 10.128. And what will be the subnet mask? 255, 255, 10.128. No. Subnet mask is this. Or both. Oh yeah, over here. In third octet. So now if I see any number starting from 128 to onward, again it means it's belongs to this network. That is starting from 128 and ending to 255. And the broadcast ID over here, it will be 0. It will be, network ID. Over here it will be network ID. And the last IP over here, 127, will be the broadcast IP. Over here it will be 255 broadcast ID. And from 1 to 126 host IPs. 129 to 254 host IPs. So what if I'm borrowing 2 bits? When I borrowed 1 bit, I got these 2 networks. If I borrow 2 bits, then what will be the networks? So then first network will be 192, 168, 10.0, 255, 255 dot 128 and 64 192. So 192 will be subnet mask. Now I don't know. Now I'm just calculating so I understand, okay, what I'm doing, I'm borrowing 2 bits. But if I don't know, I know only this IP address in front of me, then I need to figure out this number, man. Which network my IP belongs to. For that, I will have to take this number into consideration. Now I will have to draw that binary conversion table to find out where this number falls. So I will come here 128, 64, 192. So I understand, okay, this number fall here. If I add first 2 bits, I am getting this number 192. Now what I will do, I will use this number. I know now my networks falls on this number, depend on this number 64. So first network will be 0 to
63.
0 to 63, and second network
64 to
64 to
127.
127, and third
128 to 190.
and then fourth
192 to 255.
So I'm getting these 4 networks. By borrowing 2 bits. So now I know, okay, it's 192. If the number is between 0 to 63, it's separate network. If my IP address over here is from 64 to 127, oh, it's a separate network, man. I have subnet marks 192. So if it's 128 to 191, then it's a separate network because I have 192 subnet masks. And for 192 subnet masks, I am getting the networks from here. So for second, what will be the second network? 192, 168, 10.64, and the subnet mask will be 192, and the third network 192, 168, 10.128, and 255, 255, 255, 192, and then 192, 168, 10 dot.
190.
I missed. Yeah, 192. And subnet mask will be
255 to 55.
so. All of these are one network. And I got these networks from by dividing this one. I had this network with 256 IP addresses, and I broke it down in 4 networks using 192 subnet masks by borrowing 2 bits. Are you getting little bit? Little bit?
It feels slow.
now we have 224 subnet masks, 255, 255, 255, 224. Will I have again 256 IP addresses here? Can we? I mean, first, can we have 256 IP addresses with this in one network with this subnet mask?
No, because
No, because if it's 0, then we have 256 IP addresses. If not, then what should I do then? I will have to come here, right?
yes,
So where I will get 224, 122, 128, 64, 192, 224
yeah.
plus 32, 224 is here. So what will be the number? Who will make the networks for me? This number 32. So after every 32 I will have a new network. So what will be the networks?
Only we can keep not more than the 32 each network.
Yeah, if I am getting this number here, right? My subnet mask is saying, okay, you can go up till 3 bits. So 32, I cannot go beyond. 0 to 31, and the 32 will be the next network. 64 will be the next network, right? So it will be like this. So 0, 32, 64, 96,
128.
no, 128, and then
160.
160, 192, 224, and then that's it. These will be my network IDs. Network IDs when I have 224 subnet masks and I am getting from where? From here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 224 while we will be starting network ID 224, it will go up till 255, right? So and we can go beyond 255. So if it's 0, then the next network will be Simon. Simon.
Yes, I'm here.
The next network,
Subnet mask?
network.
What's the question?
The next network ID. First ID, when we are choosing 224 subnet mask, we have 224 subnet mask. The first network we have 0. 192.168.10.0. It's my first network, right? When I'm saying 0 network, I mean network ID.
If we're keeping this network ID, so in this from 0 to we can use up to 31.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same way.
So next will be
32.
so 32. And what will be the subnet mask, Simon? I need your help, man.
I'm coming.
224. I mean, what will be the next? 192, 168, 10 dot
10.64.
64, and what will be the subnet mask?
255.255.254.
224. Okay, June. Next network.
192.168.10.96.
And subnet mask?
255, 255, 255, 224.
Are you guys understanding now? I mean, June? So you saw what will be the next network?
128.
128
Yes.
and subnet mask
255, 255, 255, 225.
Fatima. What will be the next network?
Uh,
160. And what will be the subnet mask? 225, 255, 224.
As you say that if the zero comes, like in 192, the above one, the top one, so that there will be 256. This host IP is there. Yes.
Not hosts. Full
Okay,
total
full.
IPs will be
254 host IP will be there.
254 hosts.
As we are giving this one, the second one, so why is the 224? Because of those that network?
No, we are again mixing up.
Completely.
255, 255, 255, 0 is a subnet mask.
Okay.
It's not showing that 254 host IP addresses, right?
Yes.
Due to this 0 subnet mask, we are saying whole
IP.
the octet is available for IPs that are all together 0 to 255, 256 and 254
Okay.
host IPs.
Got it.
Okay, and Frank, what will be the next network?
Subnet is the same. The IP is for
192.168.10 dot
190, 192.
192.
Yeah.
And subnet mask will be 224.
Yes, same.
And the last network, Simon,
192, 168, 10, and 2 to 4.
2 to 4. And the subnet mask,
2 to 5, 2 to 5, 2 to 5, 2 to 4.
yeah, good. So now we have these 8 networks. When we borrowed 3 bits, when we have this subnet mask 224, wherever you will see 224, we need to come to this chart, conversion table. Start adding up from this side 128, 64, 192, 32, 224. Right? We are getting 224 from 3 bits, right? So then our number that is going to make our networks will be 32.
Do you have a name for this chart?
Binary conversion table.
Binary
Conversion table.
So 128, 64, 32, 16, and so on are the networks. They are called networks. Yeah. 128, 64.
These are the networks.
On the conversion table.
If we are borrowing 1 bit, this will be our subnet mask.
Subnet
If we are borrowing 2 bits, we are adding up 2 bits, and then 192 will be our subnet mask. 225
Subnet
will be
mask.
our subnet mask. And against the subnet mask, whatever we have digit in our heading, that will make our networks. So 0 to 31. Then when we will keep adding this number, whatever we are getting in the heading, we will keep adding those number and we will going to get a new network then. So 0, then 32. 32 plus 32, 64. 64 plus 32, 96. 96 plus 32, 128. So every new will be a new network with the same subnet mask. Here 0 is a network ID, right? And then 1 to 30 we have host IPs. And then 31 will be subnet ID. Subnet mask, broadcast ID, sorry. So it will be broadcast ID, 31. So first network ID, the last broadcast ID, and the in between 1 to 31 will be host. Here this 32 will be network ID, and then the last we have in this 63. 63 will be broadcast ID, and from 33 to 62 all of these will be host ID. Any idea now?
So when we run this thing in the reality, like when we go to work, how do we use this
Conversion
theory
table.
to work?
Simon, it's your for understanding. When you will be well learned guy, then you don't need this conversion table. Then calculation will be here, right? So these are what we have here. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 8 bits. And the simple thing is, and we start borrowing the bits from this side. Why from this side? The adjacent octet are of this side. Right? We are borrowing the bits from the last octet. We have first octet, second, third, and then fourth. We have 8 bits here. We have 8 bits here, 8 bits here, and 8 bits here. If my first 3 octet have 255, 255, 255, then to break the network, I am borrowing the bits from my 4th octet. And 4th octet we are borrowing from this way. We cannot go start from there, right? So we are borrowing bits from this side. So if we have 255, 255, and the rest are we are going to break, then we are going to borrow bits from the 3rd octet. And if we have only 1, 255, then we are going to borrow bits from our 2nd octet, right? So always we borrow the bits from this side. The simple way, always we remember this number. If we are not, don't have very good memory to just quickly calculate the things, we remember this 128 number. And then we keep dividing it with 2. So every division will give us a second binary conversion table heading. 128 divided by 2, 64, divided by 2, 32, then divided by 2, 16, divided by 2, 8, divided by 2, 4, divided by 2, 2, and then 1. So and if we need to calculate in mind, just we go with that. And we can memorize these 8 numbers. 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So when I will say, okay, my subnet mask is 224, I will do 128, 64, 192, 192, and 32, 224. So it's 32. My number is 32. It's already written there, right? So 232 is my number, so and network are of 32 IPs. One will be network ID, the last will be host IP. Okay. If the number is from 1 to 30, it means it's a separate network. If IP, I get this IP 10.1 or 10.15, 10.16, 10.24. So all belongs to from 1 to 30. So it's the same network. They can talk to each other. When my IPs will start from, for host IPs, from 32 to 62, it's gonna be a separate network. So these IPs will not be able to talk to those IPs without any configuration, right? Any confusion?
That 8 bits first octet. Second
If you want to go to the internet, what's the gateway of each subnet?
Each subnet,
Yeah.
we can define. Default gateway can be anything.
Okay.
Then we have configured on our
So each
routers.
subnet we need one gateway, right?
Yeah. So each subnet will have different gateway because the who routes the traffic over the internet? Router. Routers, each interface have to have a separate subnet ID. So then whatever we have configured IP at the router interface, we will use that IP to assign to our PCs or our any devices inside the network. When we are configuring default gateway, we'll keep adding that IP. And that can be anything. But within that, better to have within that network. Any question?
The first octet 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits. Can be to 2.5, 2.5 or so.
Yeah. If all bits are on, 255, 255, 255. Here we have 8 bits, that is 255. That's why we say 0 to 255. We have these numbers available in each octet. So how did you get it? So if you guys are confused, so please let me know.
More exercises.
More exercises? Keep doing. If you will keep repeating just what I have give you, even then it's good. So Andy and I believe, can you please spend 30 minutes with these guys?
Okay.
Switch your seats. Come to them and the exercises we did. Choose few of the questions and spend 30 minutes with them. And so, which guy you need, Andy or Andy? Andy, so Andy, please spend.
I can speak Mandarin.
I know Frank is good. Frank is good. Frank understands these things. And Frank can help you out as well. So Frank, Frank, can you please go to Fatima? Please guide him and you can come here.
Here in the middle. No, come in the middle. So So 128. I get two network, 0 and 128. Okay. So
Guys, what is PAN? PAN. P-A-N. This topic will start from algorithm. What is PAN algorithm? Andy.
Personal?
Hmm?
Personal network. I don't know.
Google.
Okay.
Personal area network.
Private area network, right? Not private area network.
So personal area network. What is personal area network? We just connected up our USB to our PC. It's a personal area network, and its range can be up till 10 meter. From this network, we just connected our device, any device, to our PC, USB, anything, to up till 10 meter range. If someone is configuring its own devices, personal devices to each other, as our homes, we all have personal area network. So we have a router, wireless access point, and then we have multiple devices there. We are interconnected with each other, and we are sharing the resources using multiple devices. So that is personal area network. So local area network, LAN. What is this guy?
Cable.
So one question. So can PAN be a LAN? Or LAN can be a PAN? Hmm?
Not sure.
Not sure. Fatima? Can PAN can be a LAN or LAN can be a PAN or not?
I think that can be done.
But LAN cannot. Frank?
Can will be part of that.
But LAN cannot?
Line is more.
Then
The area must be.
it's your personal.
Usually how we configure this LAN?
It's done.
Yeah, by distance, if it's usually we cannot go with the range. LAN can be as bigger as possible, but the thing is how we are configuring our networks. But usually, maybe the one building, or maybe just as one floor of the building. So each floor can be different LAN then, or we can configure just each room as a LAN. So local area network, LAN can definitely, if we are configuring PAN, our personal area network, we are connecting our devices. When we connect the devices as LAN, it's LAN as well. But just for geographical dispersion, it's very small, we say it's a personal area network. Although we have configured basically LAN, and if we are configuring LAN and we are just configuring our personal devices, LAN is a PAN, right? So interchangeable these both terms are. So it's personal area network and the LAN area network. The basic thing, these when we talk about like this, and the types of the devices, network, sorry, we say it's a geographical dispersion, right? So according to the geographical dispersion, how we look at our networks. The angle we look our networks, the network is. As in earlier classes we discussed peer-to-peer and client-server. Those are network types. But what was our angle to look towards our networks? That was where the resources are residing, right? Where we have put our resources, shared resources. If the resources were on the each and every device and they were sharing with each other, that was peer-to-peer. And if we had put all the resources on the central device, that was server, and we were accessing using different client machines, client and server. So in peer-to-peer, each PC was playing a role of client and server. Every PC was a server because PC was providing the resources, access to resources, and at the same time that PC was accessing the resources as well. So it depends how device is performing, what the role we have defined for device. So if we are putting all the resources on this PC, it's a client machine, but it will be performing as a server. So that was peer-to-peer and client-to-server. And now, according to geographical dispersion, then we have network types. It's a personal area network, very small network. Our personal devices are getting interconnected, but when we are establishing a network, basically it's a LAN. We are interconnecting the devices, it's a LAN. But the LAN, we have set up the LAN. If we have set up for this college, the 4th floor, it can be just a LAN, right? Then if I just set up my own on this table, 4 or 5 devices, it's my PAN, but it's LAN as well. So these 3 PCs are connected to a switch. Is it a LAN or is it a PAN?
If the
Huh?
PC belongs to one person, it's a PAN.
PAN. So it is PAN. Very small, few devices are connected to each other within 10 meters range. If these are, then it's a PAN. But the configuration we are doing, they are LAN. Whenever we configure the networks, broadly in broad terms, we configure the networks in 2 ways. Either LAN or either WAN. All the networks are, either they are local area networks or they are wide area networks. Then according to the geographical dispersion, we can give them the name. If we are connecting very few devices, a personal PAN. If we are connecting just a floor, it's a LAN. So I have this network and then I have one more over here. So it's a LAN, right? This one is a LAN as well. Can they talk to each other?
Now, by this situation,
I mean-
if they want to talk to each other, this one has to come here and create an
Connectivity.
connectivity, and then they can talk to
So if we have established the connectivity, then they can talk, right? You mean to say we can we use wire to connect these switches, 2 switches? or we have to bring all these pieces to this switch? Hmm?
Wire can. Wire
Wire.
connectivity.
Yes, we can use the wire.
So either we can disconnect these three pieces from this switch and I connect to this switch, right? They will be talking, right? And if I'm using a wire to connect both of these switches, then they can talk, right?
Yeah.
But will they start talking just connecting through wire? Then configurations comes and CCNA, right? Right now the concept is connectivity, right? So if we are connecting the devices with each other, they can talk. Is there any other way they can talk?
Through wire, yes.
Okay, now we have established the connectivity. This network is 192.168.10.0/24. And this network is 192.168.100.0/24. So then can they talk? These devices belongs to this IP.
It is to be on the same network. It is supposed to be on the same network, then they can talk.
Yeah, they're supposed to be on the same network, then they can talk. Can they talk?
No, I cannot see the same network.
No. Seriously saying, or do you
No,
you think?
because of the.
They're gonna not say anything to you outside if you will say no or yes. Nice guy. Yeah.
Why?
Because the subnet mask is changing.
Subnet mask is same. It's 24.
Oh, I mean, sorry, the
24.
the
Address, IP address.
IP address.
Network.
Network.
The IP of the third octet
The
is
third
different.
Is different.
Simon,
Yes.
I don't believe what they are saying. I just trust on you, man. Please let me know. Either they can talk or not. You are always absent from the class. Suddenly you join the class when I ask something, right? This network is 192.168.10.0/24 and that is 100.0/24. Can they talk to each other? These devices belong to that network. These devices belong to this network. Yes. See what you guys are doing back here. I know how they will talk to each other.
Network.
How they are on the same network. Here the network is 192.168.10.0. 24 means right, and here we have this network with here we have 10. We are not changing this, right? Here we have 100 and 25 is masking that octet, right? We have 24 bit subnet. So in 24 subnet, both are different subnet, different networks. They cannot communicate with each other. If this machine has different IP, network IP, and this machine has different network IP, they cannot talk to each other. As we have done in our lab as well, we assign different networks to different IPs, to different VMs, and they were not able to talk to each other.
So now they can talk or not?
So Fatima,
No, she was not in
no
the
doubt they are connected to each other.
lab.
They have wired connection. But wired connection is in between switches. Right? Now we have, as both of these your PCs are connected through wire. There are the switch and they are connected with each other. But if this PC has different subnet and this PC has different subnet or network, they cannot talk. So here we have this one is on 10 and one is on 100.0. So IP addresses, what will be the IP addresses here? We can assign. Simon? So I have network 192.168.10.0. Which IP addresses I can assign these PCs? Borrow first, borrow I have to borrow 3 bits.
This is 24, right? This is /24.
Andy,
Yeah.
what did you teach, man?
24. We shouldn't borrow energy. Anyone is okay.
8, so you don't have to go.
Yeah.
See,
Otherwise,
Simon,
okay.
we do that subnetting when required, right? When we are being asked to break the networks into smaller chunks. Otherwise, if they are giving us the network here instead of 24 something else, then we will go with that network. Now we have the network and we have to assign the IP addresses. So in this, what can IP I can give this host?
Okay, so
Mentor is sitting beside me.
the 192.168.10 dot
How many hosting?
No, no.
Yeah, I'm asking how many hosting?
No,
yeah,
here.
I have I can do 254.
We can give 254.
Yeah.
After 10 to 54.
Yeah.
Read, is it a right IP?
I'm not so sure, but I can say between 1 to 30.
1 to 13,
Yeah. No, 30.
30.
Yeah.
Who taught you?
No, nobody taught me. I'm actually late.
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand.
I'm going to quit.
Say
That's
yes,
why I
sir.
say I'm not so sure.
Is it the right IP?
I think
Yeah, IP is
IP is right. What do you think? Which IP should I assign to this PC then?
less than 254.
Less than 254 and higher than?
256 is for that 255. Yeah, is that 224?
I'm gonna quit teaching.
June?
I'm gonna quit teaching.
You have option, but I don't.
We cannot continue.
So Frank, which IP can I assign to this PC? Guys, listen.
For any of 3 PC, we can sign the
Listen to
from-
Frank. Listen to Frank. Please repeat, Frank. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, any from 1 to 253. Because
254.
254 we use already.
24 we already assigned. So now the available IPs are 1 to 253. Otherwise it was 1 to 254.
Yes.
254 is right IP. We can assign any of them. In this network, we have available IPs from 1 to 254 for hosts. So Frank, which IP would you like to assign?
10.2.
That's the best practice. 254 is right IP. But the best practice is the first available IP in the network. And the first available IP for network is 1. But why you did not give 1?
It's one is for gateway.
So, thanks to help, right?
I know that.
He knows. So, default gateway, usually 1 we leave for default gateway. So, we can come up with any IP for default gateway, but usually in our labs or smaller things, we go for the first IP for the default gateway. That is our host. We can assign that IP to host as well. So 192.110.2, and then over here we can assign .3, right? So now which IP should be given to this PC?
Now we are trying to communicate to both lands.
Leave it. Whatever the available network, you cannot go beyond that,
So I
man.
am not seeing that one as of now.
It's up to you. But with the available network for this, your administrator said, man, it's a network. Assign the IPs to these PCs. Which IP you will assign?
Okay, so as you said, first available IP address you have to assign like 192.168.100.2.
And then, say yes, sir.
3, 4.
Whenever I will be keep typing the like that dot 2.3.4, it means we will see the network. The network portion we are not going to touch. So in the host IPs, if I'm putting here .4, it means 192.168.100.4. So I'm just typing over here the last octet. So first thing, we need connectivity, right? Then we need to make sure our networks are on the same, our PCs, both networks are on the same network, right? On same subnet. And over here we cannot communicate with each other. The basic purpose of assigning the IP addresses in different environments is this one. By default, we don't want our networks to talk to each other by default, right? And then we have to configure and we have to do the things when we want them to talk. So what is man?
Metropolitan. Metropolitan.
Not you guys?
Metropolitan.
Are you not man? So Simon, what is man? What Fleet said?
Man is that party man or man. Metropolitan.
Area.
I'm not sure about the spelling. So metropolitan area network. What is metropolitan? For cities, right? The first concept, the city. For example, the Toronto. We are configuring Toronto as a metropolitan area network. And the basic, what will be the form of it? Either LAN or WAN. Will it be a LAN or WAN?
Maybe a van.
Hmm?
Van.
Van? Why?
That's a wide area.
Area is bigger.
It's a smaller local.
We cannot configure as a LAN.
I think yes.
We can, but it depends on the configuration.
So basically it's a van, right? So metropolitan area network, just for cities, we have Scarborough, we have Etobicoke, we have North York, East York, different areas, right? And the government, cities government offices are everywhere. So if we are working for a city government, wherever their offices are, they need to communicate with each other, right? As one office enters some information in any of the system, it appears on the other systems as well across the city, right? So all of them are on the same page. So I'm not asking Simon because he has opened, I guess, something. What is CAP? Fatima? Only CSR is wearing the cap. No one else.
Central access point.
Central access point? Oh my god.
Central
Big terms.
area network. Oh, sorry, central area.
It's a protocol.
CSR
To
is
come.
taking very advanced classes. So,
What is C?
so campus area, that one.
P.
Can
That's why I was going to say.
I thought it's a protocol.
So can, not not cap. So can is campus area network. Campus can be of a college. Can only college have a campus, or some businesses can have campus as well?
Yeah.
Might be Microsoft head office, VMware head office, Amazon Web Services head office. So, and it can be a college, it can be a university. So when we are configuring a network for these campuses, then we start calling it a campus area network. So WAN, wide area network. Wide can be for the globe, right? For any country, for region, and even it can be for a city. It can be for a campus. So when we were there, WAN and LAN interchangeable, right? Terminologies. Here, all of these are interchangeable terminology. Basically, all of these are WAN, but we can call them according to their geographical distances and the location. Then it's a metropolitan, campus, and wide area. Both are wide area as well. So if
But I never heard about the CAN in LAN. Usually we see on the system that a LAN and WAN.
these are the terminology that if you want to pass the NetworkPlus exam, then we will have to go through. Otherwise, you are absolutely right. LAN and WAN. We have two basically networks, LAN and WAN. So Fatima, why we are saying CAN can be WAN.
Can be then.
Yeah. And WAN can be CAN. Why?
It makes sense, but I don't know.
How does it make sense to you?
Because wide area network, right? It can, it is the office. Campus area network. Or is it individual? No, it can work. Voice to voice.
Like for example, if it's a bank head office, campus area network is there, but bank will be having different branches in other places too. So if it get connected with that one, so it can be say like a WAN.
If it's a campus area network and you are taking the example of bank, so it just a one campus
Yes.
when the whole office is, right? That's it.
But if we take like a Centennial College, it has a multiple buildings, so we have a multiple one campus in multiple buildings, so we can use it as a WAN as well as comes to the campus too.
Absolutely right. See, for example, in our college, Computech, it's a accounting department, right? And this one is a health department. And we are IT guys. They asked us to configure these two, but without any reason they shouldn't be able to talk, right? But we want them on the isolate networks, and then for the management purposes, they want them to talk occasionally, right? So what we will be bringing there, how we will make them aware of each other, they can talk. Say yes, sir. They're on the different networks.
So we can put the router.
Right now it's LAN. It's LAN. As you said, it can be a WAN when we have multiple departments or we are physically isolated buildings for the same campus, right?
This is the LAN.
So this one is LAN, this one is LAN.
Wiring, wires,
Who will connect them?
Router.
to the Ethernet.
Router,
Switch and router.
switch and router both.
Only router.
Router.
Only router.
Who has configured the router earlier? Did you get chance to configure the router?
Here
When Canada.
we use in US IP, right?
It's a layer 3, any layer 3 device will connect the two lines because they are on different
Right? Did you get chance to see the router and configure it? Andy?
No.
Fatma, for sure.
Router? Like internet router?
Yeah. Internet router.
Yeah, I use.
We use it at home, the home router.
Yeah.
You have home router. Good, Simon has. So Simon, please go back and start working on it. And then your kids will start complaining, Dad, my my PC is not going on the internet. Where is internet?
Right now they use wireless modem.
Wireless modem? Modem is wireless?
No.
Just one modem.
Modem is modem. Modem is not wireless.
But they don't need a router anymore. I have like 4 computers at home. They just use
all in one.
They don't need a router.
And they are connected to each other?
Wireless.
Really?
No, not
Wow.
like each other.
Amazing.
Not
I
each
used
other.
to- I used to-
You have the same thing at home?
Not each
Yeah, we
other,
have
right?
that.
You
But
have to
it's
separate
already
one
configured for
communication.
the capture.
Well, you said we have modem, then you said I have a wireless, then you said I have router. What do you have, man?
Before we need, if you have extra computer, you need a router. But right now, you just need a modem, and then how, no matter how many computers you
Be sure, man, you have at home, you have modem or router or wireless. What do you have at home?
use, modem only.
Modem only. Nothing else.
No, I think that
No,
will be
no,
including router. Including router. Modem plus router. Gateway it is called, I think.
Three in one.
As per my knowledge. Not here in my background. We have a modem plus router. It's a one device. So with the line it is getting internet and it got some ports. With that we can connect to different.
So let's consult with the consultants, Okay, sir, what do you think? What they are talking about? He's saying first he said I have modem. Then he changed the statement. He came to the wireless. Then he changed the statement. He came to the router. Then he went back to modem. Now he for sure he's saying he has modem. So having a modem at home, can he done everything he's doing at home? Can his devices get connected to that modem wirelessly?
Wirelessly,
Why?
because the modem is only changing from digital to normal only, but it's not the wireless. It's not related to the wireless.
So can he get the internet without
Without
router or wireless access thing? Only with modem. He cannot.
Should have some router or something different to that.
So ये सब आपके विचार क्या है? What do you think?
I have only, well, as you say there, I was thinking about it, but for sure we need a router to get the traffic in and out.
So it's we have router now. So this switch, this is
Okay, so if we have only modern, so it doesn't work.
I don't know. When Sar is saying no, then no.
Because
you need a router.
I have to reach my home safe and sound. I cannot reach that. Keep thinking, man.
I remember before we used to get only modem and the internet service provider used to tell us to buy your own router or something.
Yeah.
So we look for a Netgear or D-Link or something and we put that on and use it for it.
When you said Freud back home, believe me, you guys are going to join or you are already in the field that is across the globe same. Is the best point of this field, IT. If you will leave right now, Canada, and you will go back to home, the same skills will work there. And if you have got these skills from those countries, you are working here, right? So absolutely fine. It's a global thing. So the nowadays we need to go to the education where we can go anywhere of the part and we are easily start working. So guys, if we want these two LAN to communicate to each other, we need a router in between. What router does? Router interconnects the subnets. Router interconnects the networks. And either we are metropolitan area network or campus area network. Even in this building, we have very small college, right? One floor. We may have more than one networks. And most of the time we usually keep different classes on the different networks. Networks mean different subnet. They are on a different subnet. While if you guys see just running the wires, they maybe you will look they are going to every room, right? But it depends how we have configured them. So in most of the cases, every department is on the same different network. They have different IP addresses, they have different switches, and then we use router to let them talk to each other. So the router functionality is to interconnect the networks, to interconnect the subnets. So in CAN, MAN or WAN, we are all the times keep using the router. And as you said, Simon, you were talking about home router, right? We call the term for that SOHO. Small office, home office, like that. So it's a SOHO, we use the term for that router. And that router, your router has modem. That router has router, that has switch, and that has wireless access point. So in one box, nowadays in homes, this one is a home router. Within one box, we have these four functionalities. Modem is there, router is there, wireless access point is there, and switch is there. I guess maybe others showed you guys wireless access point there. So in the back end, you guys have at home. In the back end, we have 4-5 ports, right? One we connect to the wire that is coming from the ISP, and there are 4 ports always. At least 4 ports are there. Those are switch ports. And as we will discuss this modem as well later as well. The modem just what it does, it converts the signal from analog to digital and digital to analog. So usually we were using the wire that was used to for the telephone, right? And telephone carries analog signals, and inside we are using digital signals. So modem converts those analog signals to digital signals, and when it's sending out the traffic, it converts digital signals to analog signals. Without that, we cannot communicate with the outer world. But only the modem cannot provide us that functionality. Then the router's functionality, right? We have public IPs and we have internally private IPs. If you will do the IP config at your home PCs or the laptops, you will see always the private IP range. But you cannot talk to the outer world with private IP, right? You have to have a public IP, and public IP get assigned to you guys through your ISP, Internet Service Provider. They give you this device, right? Every ISP is giving this device. Before sending this device to us, they configure it. They configure these 4 things on that. Router functionality. They configure switch functionality. They configure this modem, and they can make it a wireless access point for that as well, right? So all those 4 configurations are being done by your ISP, Internet Service Provider, and then they give you this device. Modem does its own role. Router help us to translate our private IPs to the public IPs, and from outer traffic to internal traffic. Then we can easily get the internet access. Then switch, it provides the connectivity to our multiple devices. We plug one wire to our switch port and then the second to our TV. One over here, second our laptop. If we don't want wireless, right? And we can go with our wireless access point. It's already enabled, everything is done. We just need to turn on our PC and our PC will get the wireless access to this one. So we are eliminating just wire using this wire access point. Otherwise, it's basically a switch functionality, right? So we eliminate wire over here. So we get the access to the internet, and we don't feel. Sometimes some people say it's a router. You said it's a modem. So they are using different terms. The guys who are who used to use the modem first separately, they still calling it a modem. And the who doesn't know those things, they think it's a router, right? So it depends how we are calling this device at home. But in our own terms, we use SOHO. Any question? So I mean, usually you take the pictures,
I sent it to the
get the phone number from your colleagues, create a WhatsApp group,
yeah.
and start sharing. When you take the picture, just send to the group. Take the picture, send to the group.
Which group? Which one?
Class group.
Just want to double check. Modern is for the functionality I'm talking about. Internet for the modern is for the analog to digital, digital to analog, which is for the connecting to the
Internet.
wire.
For LAN purposes,
Yeah, and WAP is for the just wireless.
wireless access point.
What is the use of router here for the IP addresses? Is that something?
We internally we are using the private IP addresses range, and the outer world public IPs.
Yeah.
In IP addressing class we have discussed public IPs that is routable over the internet, and that is unique across the globe. If our router have that IP address, public IP address given by our ISP, no one else will have across the globe. That will be a unique IP address, only because traffic hits our routers. And the router's functionality is it keeps translating for that public IP to private IP and private IP to public. Otherwise, we cannot talk to the outer world. So we have multiple devices on our networks, and if we talk about just the devices who can help us to connect one device to another, one of them is hub. Who is familiar with hub?
When you say familiar, you know about it, you mean?
You know hub?
It's almost.
Can say so. I think it's similar to like a switch.
It's not similar to switch, but yeah,
It's different from switch.
you are right.
Functionality.
For understanding, you can say it's the first form of a switch.
First form of switch.
Now we have advanced form of switch, right? So switch hub we will discuss in couple of within 2-3 days the Ethernet, right? Then we will come back to it. But right now the hub, for example, if it has only right now 4 ports, we have these 4 ports, and this A wants to send the traffic to this B. What it will do? It will send a packet to this port, right? That is destined for this B. So destination will be B and the source will be A. It will send out the power on packet to this port, and what hub will do? Hub will make 3 copies. Not for its own, but the traffic it's receiving from that port, it's not going to send the packet to that port because it's a receiving port. But other than the receiving port, it will make the copies. The devices are connected to this hub. So in this case, it will make 3 exact copies. For example, we sent this data. That was A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Now it's going to make 3 copies from it. A, B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, E, F. So exact data. They make the copy and will send all to its port. And now data is coming here. It doesn't belong to this PC, and it will discard that data. It's not going to receive it. It's saying, okay, it doesn't belong to me, so it's gone. It will come here, same thing. It will get discarded. So it's saying, okay, it doesn't belong to me. But this data belongs to B, and B will accept it. Okay, and it will receive, right? And then if B wants to send the data back, now what the hub should do? It's stupid guy again. Now it should know, okay, from where the data came, right? But it doesn't know. It will again, if B is sending the data back from giving the reply of the email, it will make again the 3 copies, and now the receiving port will be this one. The B is connected, and it will make 3 copies, and it will send to C, D, and A. A will accept it, and the rest of the devices will discard the packet, the frame. So now for broadcast, if this guy wants to send the traffic everyone, it will use what the address it will use? The broadcast address. It will send the traffic to everyone, and traffic already is, hub doesn't know anything, right? So broadcast, every traffic is a broadcast, no matter what. Either it's using the unicast IP address, as we have discussed earlier. Unicast means 1 on 1. Yeah.
What will happen if 2 computers send the data on the same time?
Yeah. So if the data is, see, good question. So if A and C are generating the traffic at the same time, it will send both of them, but the lower frequency, the lower bandwidth. For example, if our disk ports have the capability of 100 MB per second, now it will get divided into two traffics. It will be 50 megabits per second per traffic. And if there are 4 packets, the traffic will be again divided, the bandwidth will get divided into 4. So it's like that, it's very slow. So it always, as the much traffic, according to the traffic, bandwidth get divided between those the traffics. So they are not gonna enjoy the full capacity of that.
There will be delay.
Yeah, delay. And one more thing, I didn't want to confuse you guys. We have one more thing here. I would like to discuss that in when we will be discussing the Ethernet. We will be using one thing, CSMA and CSMCD. So carrier sends multiple access. So that is right now I'm gonna stay here. Then I will bring this topic again. How they are sensing over the media. So when the traffic should send and when the traffic shouldn't go out. So they have devices, all of these PCs are sensible for that. They have this capability. So next we have switch. What is the time? Okay, let me just discuss the switch and then we will bring tomorrow. When it's a broadcast, the full hub is a broadcast. Each and every traffic is a broadcast. So how many collision domains we have here?
How many what?
Collision domains. We use two words. One is broadcast domain and one is collision domain. And it's your homework.
It's for the switch, sir.
Pardon?
For the switch.
Hub or switch?
Hub.
Hub and
Switch.
both. So broadcast domain and collision domain. It's your homework. Please let me know what is broadcast domain and what is collision domain, and how many broadcast domains we have in a switch, hub or switch, or how many collision domains we may have in hub or in a switch. Now, switch is an advanced form of hub. What it's doing is providing the connectivity to the connected devices so they can talk to each other. Now, if A wants to send any packet to C, how switch will work? Switch will create the copies and will send to each and every device connected to it the first time. If the A is sending the traffic first time, then it will send a broadcast message, right, to everyone. And broadcast goes to each and every port. The traffic, as hub is doing, if they belongs to their device, they will accept it. If not, they will discard the traffic. There is one functionality, very important functionality, ARP. We will discuss that tomorrow or after tomorrow as well. So A is sending packet to C. It just make the copy and send that. And it's in this case the first traffic is going in the same way to all of them. Packet belongs to C. C will accept the traffic packet, right? Now C needs to send the reply back. So while sending the reply back, now it's not going to send the broadcast message. Now the traffic, it will send the direct to A. On the receiving port, when we were sending the data, switch gets the packet and multiplies according to the ports and send out. And then it wrote some IP address. It keeps the information of A in its own table. When C receives the data, now switch knows the address of A, on which port A is connected to. So while replying back, when C will send the packet on this receiving port of the switch, switch knows the address of the A now, right? So it will directly send that packet to A. It's not gonna send to anyone. And the onward, the traffic will be one-on-one. A will be sending to C and only C will receive the packet. Packet is not going to B or D. And C is sending and it will directly go to A. It's not going to B or D. And now I have given you guys the homework, so we will start from here tomorrow. Just come up with the idea, the broadcast domain and the Boolean domain, what they are and what those are. Both of them are in hub and what both of them are in switch. Good to go. You are welcome, boss. And please keep working on your IP addressing and subnetting a little bit, 5-10 minutes every day.
So the broadcast IP belongs to the switch, right?
Broadcast IP?
Yeah. Belongs to the switch, right?
Belongs to the network.